Hi everybody, it's Jen. Welcome back to my channel, Hallmark Plus More, where we watch and talk about shows, movies, mysteries, Hallmark ornaments, and whatever else floats our boat. So today we're going to be watching The Cases of Mystery Lane. It's a series. This is the second movie in the series. It's called Death is Listening. So it is a mystery series. The Cases of Mystery Lane actually is a play kind of on words because Cases is actually their last name. So Birdie and Alden are the two characters. They're a married couple. Birdie is played by Amy Garcia and Alden is played by Paul Campbell. Great. I love them both. I love their dynamic. Birdie is a lawyer and her mom owns the law firm and her mom is her boss and she's extremely hard on her. And then Alden has gone through all different types of jobs and careers and is finally settled on being an investigator. So he's fairly new at it, obviously, but I just love the dynamic between the two as a married couple. So towards the end of the first movie, you kind of saw that Birdie was helping Alden with the case. So it's definitely going to be interesting. Like I said, this one is called Death is Listening. And basically it's showing when their favorite podcaster dies, they have to listen to clues and solve the murder. So that's pretty much what this one is, the gist of what it's about. Again, this is a series, The Cases of Mystery Lane, about basically a married couple investigators as they solve it. I loved the first movie. I'm very much looking forward to this movie just to see, and I love mysteries. So hopefully you'll be able to watch right along with me and we can kind of figure out the clues and try to figure out who the killer is and kind of what happened. So I'm definitely excited to get into it. Definitely stay with me till the end. I'm going to do a review and then I've got my Gen rating. So definitely stick around till the end. But I want to make sure that we're on the same screen so we can watch it together. So right now my screen is on, it's showing at night a picture of a moon directly under the moon. It says 1994. So it looks like we're kind of going backwards a little bit at the beginning to see a flashback or to see what's going on. So I'm excited to get into it. So just sit back and watch with me. And like I say, hopefully you'll stick around to the end and we can just talk and do our review and have our Gen rating. So if we're ready, I'm going to count it down. Again, I see the moon. 1994 is what's on the screen. So we're going to count it down in 3, 2, 1. All right, here we go. Okay, somebody's running. Somebody's chasing her. Whew. Oh no, she's trying to unlock her keys. She can't get to her keys. All right. Wow, okay. Okay. So they're listening to a podcast. Yes. Laurel St. James. All right, Laurel St. James. You can run, but you can't hide. TRK. All right. That seems exciting. All right, so now it's just going into the intro of the movie. All right, so hopefully we'll see. Cases of Mystery Lane. Death is Listening is what's on my screen right now. All right. So they're in class. Private investigators. Doctors of Murder. Ah! He collects robots. I love it. She's in yoga. He's interrupting yoga. So he interrupted yoga, thinking there was like a lobby, but it's just the main room goes right on into the class. Okay. I love cinnamon buns, so. Mm. Okay, she's running into an old friend. Aw, runs into an old friend. Okay, she's gonna meet up with an old friend. Back at their house, they live on Mystery Lane. Oh, yeah, he's dancing. Oh, yeah. He sees a hole in the box. What is it? Okay. She's back at work. Remember, she works at a law firm for her mom. Oh, there's her mom. She's picking a lock. Don't got it. Oh, don't got it. Ooh, come on, Birdie. Pick that lock. For beginners. Oh, yeah. Now that's a skill. They're having dinner with her friend and her boyfriend, Tom. Hmm. Cool. Oh, their favorite podcaster, Laurel St. James. Ooh. Oh no. Oh my gosh, her boyfriend's Tom, the policeman from the first movie. Oh, I loved him. Okay. haircuts. Sorry. Him and his robots. Wow, okay. Makes his own root beer. Ah! All right, so that little duck keychain, I feel like that's going to come into play somehow. All right, so that's how they're going to link it all to Laurel St. James, the podcast. She publishes for for her. All right, and I'm assuming that's her. Okay. Red suit, red gloves. All right, Missy. Oh, and red nail polish. Okay, girl. All right, so she's going into her studio to record her podcast. Mm-hmm. All right, she's going in to do her podcast. Okay, so she's doing her podcast now. They totally have a mouse. There's little holes and everything. So it looks like they have a mouse in the house. Just what I was kind of thinking with the little holes. All right, now she's doing her podcast. We're back to Laurel St. James. Mm, okay. Roxdale Killer. Oh, okay. Oh, hello. Oh, snap. Oh, okay. Well, there you have it. Okay, and he's leaving the card. Silence speaks louder than words. TRK. All right. So, okay, well, there you have it. Laurel St. James is the podcast that Alden and Birdie, it's their favorite podcast. Basically, she said this was the last episode of the series. I guess she's doing the Who Done It about the Roxdale Killer. So we had 3 victims. And basically, she just said this is going to be different because I'm actually basically going to expose or give something about the reveal of the Rexdale Killer. Sorry, I wanted to make sure I had that correct. I wrote that down. And then obviously he has to be the Rexdale Killer. Is my assumption because she has a very famous podcast and that's what she's been talking about. So my guess is that's who, hunted her down. Now, what's interesting is that he knew the code. He or she knew the code because he actually punched in the code to get into the building. So that was definitely interesting that he did know the code. And I don't know why I thought this, but when they were in the house with her friend from high school and Tom, the police officer, was, her boyfriend and her date, when they left the whole little duck keychain, I don't know why I just got an inkling that that's going to come into play. So I don't know if, you know what I mean, that's going to have anything to do with anything. I just thought it was an odd little, tidbit that they threw in there. So, I definitely liked Tom from the first movie. I thought he was very funny because, he didn't really care for Alden and in his trying to solve the crime. So I like that he's back in this movie. I like that her mom is back at the law firm. I loved the whole cast. So, I hope they all kind of come back in at some point. But it's obvious that, he works at the police department. He's probably going to be assigned this case, and that's going to link him back with Birdie and Aldi because they are going to try to figure it out. Mainly because this is their favorite podcast. And it says in the previews that they're going to listen to clues, since she's a podcast. So my guess is that they're going to go over her episodes and her tapes and try to see if they can pick anything out. So, she was basically gunned down in her studio. It looks like he or she was wearing gloves. And I think the takeaway here is that they knew the combination to the building. So that should narrow down their search. But it's going to be interesting because, honestly, we don't have any suspects right now besides obviously the Roxdale Killer. But if nobody knows who that person is, that's the only suspect you have and you have no idea who he is. So it's going to be interesting to see what they're going to, who's going to come forward. I love mysteries. They're always going to have some kind of red herring. So that's going to be interesting too. Like, who do they want you to believe did it? Whoever they push on you, I feel like at the beginning of the movie is never really the real person. They might be introduced early in the movie, but they're not always the prime suspect. So definitely exciting. I love my mysteries. I love to try to figure out who done it. So that's going to be definitely interesting. I hope you're enjoying the movie so far. I am. I'm really looking forward to see who, the suspects are going to be or who they turn out to be. So hopefully we're getting back into it now. Let's see. All right. Yep. And there you see Tom right away at the crime scene. So. Yeah. Nigel. Okay. Roxdale killer. All right. So he is known for putting notes on his victims. So that's why they say, is he back? Oh my gosh, he saw the mouse. Alden's afraid of the mouse. Birdie's gonna try to see it. Mm. He doesn't like the mouse. I love this. Oh my gosh, I love it. Oh my goodness. Mm. Mm. Oh, okay. So they're hiring an exterminator to get rid of the mouse. Oh, that must be him. Exterminator is here. Exterminator's there. He's like, no, we're good. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, this is hilarious. Oh my gosh. So he turns the exterminator away. It's so funny. Hmm. Mm. So he had a bad experience with the mouse, and he's like freaking out, get that mouse out of my house. But he doesn't want help with the exterminating. He wants to do it himself. Ah! What? He's doing these interviews. This is great. Oh, gosh. That was great. All these different people. Mm. Whoa. He does the Birdie and Alden cases. Yes. Whoa. Alden is like... I don't... Whoa. He's putting aluminum foil everywhere. Tin foil. Oh, there's Tom. Yes. We're on the case. All right. All right. So, they're on the case. So, basically, the reason why I was laughing was Tom was interviewing all of these, I guess, potential suspects. And really, they're just the people that rent out the studio. They rent out lots in that studio or rooms for sessions. And they all have different podcasts. So Birdie likes to do yoga. So the one where Alden interrupted her in her yoga class, she also has a podcast, a yoga podcast. And then there was another young girl who also does a crime podcast. And then a couple other interesting characters who rent out the space for their podcast. And as he's interviewing them, Tom doesn't really understand anything they're saying. The Roxdale killer. He has the initials, TRK for the Roxdale killer. She was naming a couple other, known serial killers or unsolved cases. And Tom was like, what? I don't understand. So they're going to bring them in officially this time to work with the police to consult. And it's going to be interesting to see because, like I say, there seemed like, he interviewed quite a few people. So there's a couple different suspects there. I don't know. If I had to pick off of the 5 people he interviewed, something's telling me the yoga instructor. I don't know why. Obviously it could be the real Roxdale killer because she basically said, I'm going to have evidence and basically expose him, so to speak. So it could be them, or, him or her. This was a long time ago, in the 90s. So, you know how I said at the beginning of the movie, it would, flash back to 1994, and a young girl getting shot. She, was running towards a building and a man shot her, and then you go to present day with Birdie and Alden. So I guess it was kind of giving you a flashback. He had 3 victims, all young ladies. So we really don't know much about that at all, just that he's called the Roxdale killer. He had 3 victims, which were young ladies, and we saw at the beginning of the movie when he killed one of the young ladies, and he had the note card. So I guess that's kind of like his calling card is he has this note card. So, and he did leave a note card there for Laurel St. James too. So what we're looking at here is, was it the real Roxdale killer, since they never found him? And he killed her so that he wouldn't be exposed, or so that the world wouldn't know what she knew? Or is it a copycat? Or is it something completely different? And they just wanted it to, did somebody want her dead and just wanted it to look like the Roxdale killer? So there's still a lot, I feel like, up in the air, that we really don't know. Which is why I love mysteries, because like I said, there's always red herrings. There's always these little things. The little keychain with little duck on it, that was a weird little tidbit they talked about. But, like I said, the calling card with the writing on there, I believe, is what you want us to think, that it was a Roxdale killer. So I'm excited to kind of dig into this and see what other suspects come up. And of course, Birdie and Alden, I just love their dynamic. They're just a great married couple, and what they go through. So I think it's funny. He's afraid of the mouse, and he's trying to kill it in the house, and he's got tinfoil everywhere. So definitely want to see. Now remember, Tom's not really happy with having them on the case, so there's always that little frustration there that you deal with. So that's going to be interesting to see as well. But I hope you're enjoying it so far. And we're just watching the commercials here so that we can get back into it. All right, here we go. Mm. Okay. Mm. Okay. So he killed those 3 people, the Roxdale killer, and then basically vanished for 30 years. So they're saying, did he come back? All right, let's do the murder board here. 3 victims. Hmm. Hmm. Mm-hmm. Identifying them? Mm-hmm. Focus. Oh, here we go. Okay. Okay. Mm-mm-mm. Okay. He was with this guy. Okay, let's see. Here's the yoga lady. Ooh, okay. Okay, she's got a little bit of anger. All right. All right, yoga lady. Okay, here's the young girl. Here's the other ones. Ooh, ex-husband. Okay. Peter. Okay. Ooh. Ooh. Yeah. Ooh, okay. Good for them. Okay, there's the ex. Mm. Oh, let him go along, Tom. All right, gonna go talk to the ex, Peter. All right, they're going to talk to the ex. Oh, he's wearing the mustache. Oh, he cracks me up. He cracks me up. Oh, I love snickerdoodles. Ha. Sugar and cinnamon. Yummy. All right. So, a little tid note about me. I love snickerdoodles. Okay. So they are gonna go see Peter, which is the ex. Um, little little odd. He sees them outside and says it's warmer inside. He's wearing an apron and he's holding a tray of cookies, snickerdoodles to be exact. So it seems a little, trespassing. What beef he has with his ex, basically Laurel St. James. How long were they married? What kind of relationship do they have? I mean, there's so many things that we would want to know. But I feel like in every situation, in every case, you know what they always say, the cliche, always blame the spouse or always look at the spouse. So I wouldn't necessarily say that he did it, only because he's pretty much the first suspect they're really looking at. So we'll have to wait and see. But the other people in the studio, we want to remember that the killer had a code. So if it's not one of the suspects that we're looking at, it's got to be somebody who has the code. So him being the ex, he might have had the code to get in to the studio because he was her ex. Maybe, when they were married, however long they've been divorced. I don't know how long she's been renting that studio to do her podcast. So maybe he does know the combination, or maybe he watched her enter it, or maybe somebody else watched somebody else enter it. You know what I mean? The manager seems, I don't know, it seems like he's got a little screw loose. Maybe the manager gave it to somebody, or maybe it's one of those piggyback situations, when you go into a building and you hold the door for somebody. Maybe that was the case. Maybe that's how they got in. So maybe it doesn't have to do with the code. But I think we're going to get some interesting information on the ex. I just hope the ex didn't do it, because I want to be able to be surprised and trying to figure this out. But I'm definitely interested to see what the ex has to say. For some reason, I was leaning towards the yoga instructor because I just felt like she was hiding something. Maybe what she was hiding was her temper, because wow, she's got a temper. Maybe that's what I was seeing. She was holding in a temper. But I don't know. I don't know why I just got a vibe about her. And at first I was like, oh, well, it can't be her. She has a yoga class. But now, since I find out she does have space in the building, but I don't know why it would be her unless jealousy. I don't know. It could definitely be the Roxdale killer. I mean, I'm definitely wanting to follow that. And my gut is, even if the Roxdale killer did not kill Laurel St. James, I just have this gut feeling that Birdie and Aldi are gonna solve that case. So that's kind of a side angle here. I feel like that case is gonna get solved. So you just never know. We'll just have to wait and see. Hopefully we'll find out some evidence from there, because they're going to be listening to all her podcasts, and her podcasts are all about the Roxdale killer. So I'm hoping we'll either find out who he is, even if he didn't kill Laurel. Maybe we'll still be able to, unravel who that is. So a lot of good information. I definitely, want to see where this goes. I think, we're getting a lot of good information here. So I'm excited. We're not quite halfway through, so I'm sure there's going to be a couple more suspects we're going to look into. But I think Birdie and Aldi are doing great, and I'm really looking forward to seeing, what the ex has to say. So hopefully, it's going to be getting back into it here in a minute, and we're going to see what's going on. But I'm liking it so far. Hopefully you are too, and following along. All right, we are back. They're in the house eating the snickerdoodles. Of course, they're delicious. Snickerdoodles are delicious. Of course, these Tom's mad they went in by themselves. So let's see. Right? Because he's the ex. Kovac. Maxwell Kovac. All right, so who's Maxwell Kovac? So we don't think Peter is a suspect, which I never really thought about. But um, who's Maxwell Kovac? Oh, he's trying to get the mouse. Oh my gosh, he's got his robot. He's looking for the mouse. All right, still looking for the mouse. True. Oh, so sweet. Oh, so sweet. Hmm. Wow, you're that good at poker. You go, girl. Tag on. Go, girl. Okay. Audio files. This is what I want to see. truth behind the Roxdale killer. This is what I wanted to hear. They got to figure it out. Mm-hmm. New, exactly. He put a picture of the mouse on the board. Love it. Right? Could be. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Well, you still got to put them up there. Still got to put everybody up there. No, still something missing. I agree. Mm-hmm. Step by step, there's something they're missing. What is it? What are they missing? Oh, they're doing the podcast with the young girl. It's like really quiet. What? Okay. Okay. So they're going back to the studio because one of the girls, Katie, the young girl, basically does crime podcast too, and she wants to interview them on their last case. But she's late and it's kind of quiet, and then she runs in the building and says, "He's here. He tried to grab me. It's the Roxdale killer." So, I mean, what? So, a strange turn of events. I do believe she fits the profile because I think Laurel St. Jane was saying earlier that he went after 3 young women for a senseless crime, she said. So this young girl, Katie, she's not old enough to actually be the Roxdale killer. However, she does fit the profile of the victims. So we're about an hour in. So we're about halfway through the movie. So, I mean, not really have any answers. You know, obviously when you watch these murder mysteries, you always have more questions than answers, right? So my question with what just happened with Katie is she faking? Because I think she came across as faking. I mean, the news reporter was out front. So you have a camera and a news reporter out front doing an update. Like, look, this is an update on the murder of Laurel St. James. They're standing in front of the studio. And then 5 minutes later, she comes running in and saying she was. So, I mean, if it really was the Roxdale killer, why is he risking being on camera, since the camera was live footage for the news reporter? So I don't know. I don't get it. I'm not saying that Katie is faking, but I'm saying I wouldn't be surprised if she was faking. Or if maybe just somebody tried to grab her. Maybe she just saw somebody coming out of the woods or around the corner and she panicked and freaked out and started running in the building. Because I don't want to say she was lying. If she feels like somebody was coming after her, then somebody was coming after her. I mean, I'm going to believe you. But I don't know why the Roxdale killer would be coming after Katie, or why they would risk being exposed or being on camera, knowing that the news is there. So I'm a little surprised and kind of don't really know what to think about that. I'm glad Katie's okay. It doesn't look like she has a scratch on her, but she came running into the building. So something spooked her. Something freaked her out. Somebody's coming after her. Maybe Katie knows something. Maybe Laurel confided in Katie. Maybe the killer knows that Katie's onto something. I don't know. We're going to find out. We're going to see when Birdie and Alden talk to her and ask, like, hey, do you know something? Why would they be coming after you if they didn't feel like you were valuable or had information? Or if it's just a ruse and she's just making it up for attention, for publicity, we don't know. But that's a little, I wouldn't have guessed that. I would not have guessed that, somebody's coming after her. So really we have a lot of suspects. We still don't know anything about Maxwell Kovac, which is who the ex pointed at. So I have learned that in these types of cases, when the spouse is always the first suspect, but when they point at somebody, that's not always the killer either. So you always want to deflect blame off you, but you want to point it towards somebody else. So I think we need to find out who Maxwell Kovac is and why Peter thinks that, it could be him. So they haven't really divulged into that. So I'm definitely, interested to find out who Maxwell is and how it relates to the case. But yeah, we want to figure out, what spooked Katie, why somebody is coming after her, or why she feels like somebody's coming after her, and see how that's all linked to the case. So it's going to be interesting. Let's get back to it. There's Tom. Definitely scared if somebody's coming after you, for sure. So what was he saying? Okay. So we need to figure out, when he said low tone, I want to know, what did he say to her? That's curious. Uh-oh. Gig's up. Mm. So she is lying. So she did lie. I knew it didn't make sense. Or why they would come after her. So she was making it up just for publicity. All right, so no harm, no foul. They haven't really done anything yet since she basically reported it, probably rebuked it at the same time. Uh-oh, what's he doing now? Oh my gosh, he's got some contraption in the house to catch this mouse. Oh my gosh. What is she? All right. She's gonna out catch the mouse. Oh yeah. All right. Well, that's a lot of traps. All right. Whoa. Oh, okay. All right. Big stickers. Really haven't been listening. So the big speaker should help. Let's listen. What are we not hearing? What was that? Squeak. A wheeze. All right, so I suspected her. Okay, so I suspected her. However, we still have a lot of time left in the movie. So, am I happy they're kind of looking into her? Yes and no, because I don't think you're gonna find your killer this early. However, maybe you find Laurel St. James killer, and then you spend the rest of the movie trying to find the Roxdale killer. But I just, I don't know. I had a feeling when I saw her in the yoga studio. I was like, there's something there. She's hiding something. We're missing something. There's more to her. And we kind of saw that in the interview room. She kind of has that temper. She emptied out her purse. You want to see what's in my purse? Ah! And she emptied out her purse. And they saw the inhaler. But when you hear, it was almost like a squeak, like a wheeze. I know it's going to sound crazy, far-fetched. And I could be completely wrong and look like a fool for it. But I have to say it. The squeak made me think of the duck keychain. I know it probably doesn't have to do with anything. But when I felt a squeak, when you hear squeak, you think mouse, you think duck, you hear that. But when they said wheezing, I was like, okay, definitely see where they're going with the inhaler, going back to the yoga instructor. But squeaking could also mean a mouse. Squeaking could also mean, a duck. When you have one of those little duck toys, and I'm thinking to kids. I'm thinking to the toddlers when you have the rubber ducky, Sesame Street, you hear the rubber ducky. It's a squeak. So that's what made me think of the keychain from the very beginning. And she said her friend Kristen, I believe I wrote down, from high school. She said that it's publishing and that she's her biggest client. She signed the book to her. So it's making it sound like that Kristen is good friends with Laurel St. James. But I'm telling you, I just have a feeling. So hopefully, maybe I am completely wrong. Maybe the inhaler is the yoga instructor. Maybe that's what we're going to find out. But for me, when I heard it, it made me think back to the little ducky keychain. So we're going to find out here shortly if, I'm a fool to think that or not. But I just feel like I thought it was her. Now that it's aiming towards her, now I think it's not her. Because like I said, there's so many red herrings. I think it's going to be an unlikely person. So now that they're going down, like, okay, let's interview the yoga instructor. The wheezing was an inhaler. I'm thinking it wasn't an inhaler. It was something different. And we're going to wait in another 20 or 30 minutes once we get closer to the end on what that really is. So I'm either a genius to link it back to the little duck keychain, or I'm a fool because it's not have anything to do with that. So let's definitely see and find out. But I guess what they're doing next is they're going to interview her and see if it was her inhaler, because she's proven she has a temper. So let's see. And again, the little, the information we haven't gone over, or should I say, is Maxwell Kovac. Who is Maxwell and what does he have to do with the case? So they really haven't explored that. I guess that's, I don't want to call it the wild card, but they really haven't talked about it. So we really want to find out who Maxwell is, because Peter did mention him. And that's got to come up soon. We have to be able to research that and figure out who Maxwell was. And maybe that'll give us some clues, or maybe that'll link some things together for us. But let's get back to it here. Now they're pretending to go to a yoga class. I guess they're going undercover in a yoga class, not not questioning her officially. Hot yoga. I've never done hot yoga, but let's see. Okay, so we're watching the yoga class, hot yoga. Okay. Okay, so they're still doing the hot yoga. That would be me. I think I would be Alden. I don't think I would be doing too good. Okay, well, she's wheezing. Oh, okay. She still definitely has her temper. Okay, well, he got hit in the head with the ball. Let's see. Yeah. So they think it's the same sound. Oh my gosh. They are hilarious. Okay. Okay, so it wasn't her. Mm. Okay, look through Laurel's mail. You never know. Yeah, where are we at with Maxwell Kovac? So, that's what I'm saying. Look at Maxwell. Okay, here we go. Whoa. The cancer will. In the next 3 months, she would have died of cancer. Okay. All right. So they have to look into Maxwell. But yeah, she I guess, wants to reveal the Rockdale killer because she's dying of cancer in the next 3 months. Yes. What's going on with Maxwell? Who is Maxwell? Seriously. Oh. So Maxwell Kovac was a. Okay. Okay. So Maxwell Kovac was an officer on the case that she called out as shoddy police work, basically, and he got let go from the police department. Gotcha. All right. So Maxwell is at an assisted living facility, and they are going to go there to try to see if they can find out information from him. So that's going to be interesting. So basically, we wanted to find out who Maxwell was, right? So he's an officer on the case. So they're going to find out. Basically, Laurel St. James calls him out by name in her podcast, which is never, ever good. Basically, she called him out saying that he misplaced evidence or he botched the investigation of the Roxdale killer. So, I mean, that's, a serious call out. He obviously lost his job from the police department. So whether that was true or not, the police department still let him go. So, I mean, I'd be pissed. I'd be mad, if I was an officer with the police and I lost my job because some podcast thinks I botched something, whether I did or not, he lost his job. This was a long time ago, obviously. So he's a lot older now, and he's in an assisted living facility. So when I first heard that, I was thinking, okay, he's going to be too old to have done it. But let's remember at the beginning of the movie when the person was getting into the building, they put in the code, right? And they got into the building. They weren't walking really fast. I mean, they were kind of slow creeping up on her before they killed her. So, I mean, it's definitely possible it could have been an elderly senior citizen. It could have been this Maxwell person. He could have had asthma. I mean, I'm talking about the squeaky duck keychain from the very beginning, but it could have been an old gentleman. Maybe what they heard was somebody wheezing from allergies, or somebody who who had asthma and needed an inhaler. So, I mean, that part still could be true. It could have been this older gentleman from the assisted living. He could have, gone there, surprised her, had an asthma attack, used his inhaler and killed her. So it's still possible that the sound could have been an inhaler. I just don't think so. I think this is going to be a dead end. I don't want to say a dead end. I don't think Maxwell did it. However, I do think they're going to find some information from him. I think they're going to find useful information, a lead. They're going to talk to Maxwell, which is probably going to be their best lead in the entire movie because he was an officer on the case. Whether he botched the case or not, he knows information about the Roxdale killer because he was on the case. So I think this is the best lead yet in the whole movie, and I'm really excited to see what he has to say. Do I think Maxwell did it? No, I don't think Maxwell was a killer at all. The officer, no. Was he angry? Was he mad? Yes. But this was 20-something years ago. So no, I don't think, he waited that long for his revenge. I think if he was really angry, he would have done something about it back then, especially with anger, rage right after he got fired. But I do think he's going to give them some kind of useful information, some kind of trinket, some kind of piece of information that's going to allow them to go on and kind of bust this case wide open, so to speak. So I'm very interested on what they have to say with Maxwell because I think, don't think he did it, but I think he's going to help for sure. So, definitely, we're over halfway through. So hopefully we're going to get some juicy information and try to figure out what happened. So, like I said, I've been waiting for them to figure out who Maxwell was. And hopefully he can give us some more information. I mean, who knows? Peter was all, happy and making cookies. Maybe he's got, another side. She did put a restraining order out. Was she really this mean, ruthful person, or is Peter playing us? Maybe the ex is playing us. Maybe it was Peter this whole time and he's just playing the softie, but he's really a killer. Who knows? Well, we're going to see. Hopefully, we're going to see what goes on with Maxwell. So let's get back to it. All right. They're undercover and they're going to be salsa dancers. All right. So they're undercover, hopefully, to find out who Maxwell is and to talk to him. Okay, so Laura went to see Maxwell. Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah, Alden. Amy's good. You go, Birdie. A little bit, but she's good. Conga. Woo. Conga. All right, so they're doing like a conga line to hopefully get everybody distracted, is my guess, so that they can kind of get away. So let's see what happens. All right, so they're doing the conga line. Uh-oh. There we go. Yep, so they're kind of stealing away. They got everybody doing the conga line. Now they're going, I believe it was room 312. 312 is the room they're looking for, I believe. There we go. So they did a conga line to distract everybody. So everybody's doing a conga line. And now they're trying to find Maxwell. And they found him. He's sitting in a wheelchair. Okay, so maybe the wheezing is his oxygen tank. Maybe it was him. Okay, let's hear it. Okay. Okay. Stole the evidence. Yes, he gave us a lot of useful information. I knew Maxwell would be useful. Okay, let's see what this is. Yeah, it makes sense. Hide it outside of your home. Ooh, you go, girl. Birdie. She's gonna pick the lock. Go, Birdie. Go, Birdie. Yeah, girl. She got this. All right, what's in the locker? What's in the locker? Okay, so it looks like a lot of like antiques or just kind of junk. But I'm sure there's got to be something in here. Evidence. Okay, so it looks like it's a bunch of junk. But I have a feeling they're going to find a box of evidence. Let's see. Evidence. Ew. Oh, somebody's coming. Oh, I just got goosebumps. All right. Woo! Okay. So I totally got goosebumps. So, she has a storage facility, which of course, who doesn't, right? She doesn't want to hide evidence, obviously, in her house, so she hides it in the storage locker. Since she's dying, I always see this when people are dying, or they only have a couple months to live. You see a lot of times they want to make amends. You know what I mean? People that don't believe in God all of a sudden believe in God when they think they're gonna die. So she obviously wants to make amends. She feels the guilt. You see that a lot in life and in movies. So I'm not sure how she got all this evidence, but it seems like from the evidence that they're talking about, all of that can be DNA, right? A scarf, fingernail clippings, cigarette butts, all of those can have DNA. So it looks like Laurel knew what she was talking about. She took the evidence that would have basically told you who the killer was. All of the evidence that requires DNA that would lead to a person's name. So definitely, I don't think Maxwell did it. Like I said, I mean, the wheezing might not have been a person who had asthma. The wheezing could have been somebody who was on a machine, you know what I mean, where he, so that could have been it. I mean, I guess they're wanting to think it could have been Maxwell. I don't think it was, but like I say, I wanted to see that interview because I knew he was gonna give you information, link you to your next lead. So now hopefully Birdie and Aldi get out and they're able to give the information to Tom, and Tom's able to run it down. Now Peter being the ex, obviously you never go for the ex right away. That's the obvious choice. But the fact that he was overly happy and, happy go lucky, and he was making cookies and wearing an apron and just, you know, no cares in the world. I don't know. Did it come across kind of fake? Because he did have a restraining order against him. But then again, if Peter was the serial killer, or if Peter was the killer, why did Laurel hide it if it was her ex? So I don't know. But what was really, really interesting to me was Maxwell said they didn't link the cases. Laurel said serial killer. Laurel was linking the victims. So that's interesting. What does she know that they don't know? And if she did know the killer, why did she wait 20 some years? Obviously, she only has 3 months to live. So like I said, just like she said to Maxwell, she wants to give amends or make amends, and, basically correct something she did wrong, right or wrong. But why did she hold on to it for so long? I mean, think about it. If you knew somebody killed people, why would you hold on to it for 20 something years? I understand now she wants to make amends. She thinks she's dying and she wants to make things right. But why have that? Why hold the evidence? What was significant for her to hold on to this if she really did know the truth about who the killer was? And why link the victims together if it wasn't a serial killer? Like, why is she doing that? I think it's very interesting that she is saying the victims are linked and not the police. And Maxwell was like, I always felt like she had the upper hand, like she knew something and she wasn't telling us, or she knew more about the cases than we did, like she was a step ahead. So, I mean, definitely a lot of interesting information here. Who really killed her? Was it the Roxdale killer? I don't know. I definitely find this very interesting. We don't have much left in the movie, so definitely coming up to the end here where something's going to be exposed and we're going to try to figure out the who and the why. I've noticed a lot of times we try to figure out the why before the who, and a lot of times in the movie you're going to see the who and then you're going to figure out the why when you figure out the who. So let's see. They're talking to Tom now. Oh. Yeah, 30 years old. Okay. State Park. What? Yeah, because they left a note. Okay. Right. Yeah. Why did she make it up though? Ooh, maybe she caught the mouse. Okay, so he's got to tell his girlfriend, Kristen, her friend. All right, so apparently she fabricated the whole thing. There was no Roxdale killer, no notes left at the scene that she said. So it's going to be interesting. They have to tell Kristen. Okay. I just had a feeling about Kristen, the rubber duck. Yeah. Yep. Yep. All right, so I was thinking Kristen, because I was thinking that duck, something just was off. Katie. Ooh, Katie. There's the sound. Did you hear it? Hear the squeak? Let's see. Ooh, let's see. Was that the same sound? So if it was Katie. So if it was Katie. All right, so they think it's Katie. All right, so they're going to arrest Katie. Doesn't feel right about it. I don't think it's Katie. I don't think it's Katie. Okay. All right. So they have proof of that noise. So they arrested Katie. So we still have, like 10 minutes left. I mean, it could be Katie. I'm just not feeling it. I mean, I thought she might have been faking the attack, which she obviously was, because when she ran in and said somebody attacked her, it just didn't make sense. Not that I ever want to think anybody lies about being a victim, by no means, but I just kind of had that feeling, and then obviously we find out 2 minutes later she did. But I don't think she did it. I just don't think she did it. My bet right now is either Peter is acting way too happy, and it could be Peter, or I'm really honestly, I think we're going back to Kristen. Because even though she seemed upset, she was cleaning, she had on her rubber gloves, and she didn't seem too upset, like, oh, now I gotta go, tell my legal team that she made it all up. But I wasn't buying it. She didn't seem as distraught as you think she would be. In business, if that's your main client, she brings in a lot of money for a publishing company. I just feel like she would have been more upset. And then she kind of scurried off and said she had work to do. So, like I said, most of the time you don't hear the how or the why. You figure out the who. So basically what we've been doing throughout this whole movie is figuring out, why did this person do it? Oh, well, this person has a motive. It must be this person. But I've noticed in some of the Hallmark mystery movies, you find out at the end who it was. And then right after you find out who it was, they tell you why they did it. And it's like, okay, so I wasn't following that motive. So I feel like it could be Kristen, and we didn't really think of Kristen having a motive, really, and we're going to find out right now when we figure out that it was her, and we find out her motives. So, I mean, I'm not going to be disappointed if it turns out that Katie's a killer, because I didn't really pick her early on, and that's really, what we want. We want to be able to watch a movie and keep guessing, right? So, there's not much left in the movie. If I have to say who I think, I'm going to go with, it's Kristen. It was the duck. Obviously, I could be wrong, which happens a lot, but that's just my gut telling me. I just feel like maybe it's Kristen. So we're going to see, let's see the end of the movie. And I'm really excited to see if there's any twists and turns. A lot of times there are little twists and turns at the end, like what's going on. So definitely let's get back to it. Let's see how this ends. Let's see what's going on. Let's see what Katie has to say. They said she had a weak alibi. So let's see, because if it is Katie, then she's going to crumble. She's going to tell her, she's going to tell us everything. Or she's going to keep saying she didn't do it, and we're going to figure out who the real killer was. But I'm hoping it's not going to leave us with a lot of questions with no answers, because here, my main question now is, what did Laurel St. James know? Why did she make everybody believe for 30 years that these these deaths are related? Why did she make up a serial killer? Why did she say that? Why did she say that there was a calling card, that they were, why? Why does she do that? So yes, I want to find out obviously who the killer is, who killed Laurel St. James, but I think the biggest mystery that I want to know even more is, why does she hide the evidence? What does she know that nobody else knows? And why did she link all the killers? Why did she make this up? So, as mysterious as that is, and as crazy as that sounds, I'd rather know that than who killed Laurel. I mean, not necessarily, I still want to know who killed Laurel, but it's very intriguing, this other piece of information, because, I mean, who does that? Who makes up, and if she's going to make it up, you basically lied about this officer. I mean, you got Officer Maxwell fired because you're saying that it was shoddy police work and you made up a serial killer. So let's see what happens. Here we go. Oh, still trying to fix or grab the mice or the mouse. Okay, something's still bugging me too. Did we though? Is she? Is she? No. I was right. Knew it. You. I knew it was Kristen. Okay. Whoa. Okay. Okay. Here we go. All right. I knew it. This is crazy. Yep, you did good, Cases. Yeah, I bet, Tom. Yeah, they are. They're a great couple. But are they gonna find out why she made it up? They're gonna catch the mouse. They got the mouse. So the mouse did help. So terrible. So it does. Closure is so important. So they answered my questions, hopefully. Yes. Yeah, seriously. Go, girl. Aww. All right, so they solved the case. Yay. And they kept the mouse. They trapped the mouse and are keeping it as a pet. What? Wait, what? What's going on? Okay. Okay. All right. So, wow. Okay. So, I hope everybody liked the movie. Definitely interesting. Seriously, definitely interesting. I hope you enjoyed watching it with me. Definitely stick around so we can, let's talk, have our review, and go over my gen rating for the movie. So I hopefully you'll stay tuned and we can talk and discuss. So talk to you soon.